Hello, this is Manju Sharma again, taking you into the world of literature. We read the works produced by others. We see the arts created by others, and we hear the music and delight from it, also created by others. We are the sharers of a fortune that has been placed by great artists over a long period of time. But how do people create, and why do they create these works of art? What causes them to bring an input that is going to delight and instruct the succeeding ages over and over again? In fact, creation is a cult. It is a drive that comes only when a person looks at things with an intent heart and an intent mind. And after that, he has a theory to propound, a thought to give about it. Not taking you further into the definitions of creation, I would just tell you a story which can be understood and assessed as the mother of all criticism. The story was from a drama written by Sophocles, a great Greek artist. The story is about a boy, Oedipus. The word Oedipus means Edi is sword and pus is foot. The boy has wounds in his feet, and these wounds have a story behind them. When he was born to the parents, Laius and Jocasta, it was professed that he is going to kill his father and marry his own mother. This drove the father to anxiety and great concern. Why should this incest ever happen? So he told his prosecutioners to take away the child and kill him while he was just born. The prosecutioners had no heart to kill the child that smiled back at them. They just took it to the forest, tied his feet together by piercing a nail across their feet, and left it in the forest. In the meantime, Jocasta, the mother, is told that she had given birth to a stillborn child, whereas the child was picked by some shepherds who were from a clan where the king had not had a child for a long time. Looking at the face of the child, they took the child to the king, and the king gladly adopted him for a prince. But destiny and fate were working hard upon the framing of the character of this man. A sage, a seer, came to that kingdom, who is Tiresias, and tells him, he professes again that this child is going to kill his father and marry his own mother. The child, mistaking these parents as his own parents, deserts them and moves out, stricken with remorse for his own life. When he goes there, he sees at a crossroad an old man lying with a shining sword by his side. This he doesn't know is his own father Laius, who has come out from his land because he could not have any progeny after that. Oedipus has an immediate intention to pick up that sword from this man because he knew the sword would hold no use to him. However, it could be of use to him because he had the good intention of helping the shepherds who were very miserable and could not defend their sheep against the wolf that came astray. While he was seizing the sword, the man got up, and in the strife that ensued, the man was killed. Fatal working, the father is killed. The boy is so filled with remorse at having killed an innocent man without an intent to do it that he climbs a hill thereby to put an end to his life that has caused misery to everyone around, though in an intention to good to them. He just wants to plunge into the valley, but then the sun rises from his back and his reflection is cast into the valley. And cheering crowd comes up and tells him that he is going to be their redeemer. He's bewildered. He doesn't know what to do. And he asks, why do they hail him as their redeemer? And they say that there is a phoenix that comes, the monster phoenix comes, asks them a question and kills them if they are unable to answer it. Oedipus now has a reason to live further, because instead of dying miserably in the sad memory of having killed an innocent man, he chooses rather to die instead of one other man, and he offers to meet that monster. The monster comes flying in rage and asks him the question that he had been asking. What is it that moves on 4 in the morning, 2 in the noon, and 3 in the evening? Oedipus is destined to take that destiny, the miserable destiny. So he answers immediately that it is man. His childhood is his morning when he walks on 4. His youth is the noon where he proudly moves on to. And his old age is a misery where he takes the help of a stick to carry himself. And the phoenix clapped its wings, burnt himself in his own fire, and left the kingdom Thebes free. Thebes, which was his motherland, where his father had lived and his mother was still living. And the people gladly took him as their king. They hailed him their king and took him back to the kingdom with pride and rejoicing, and offered him in marriage. Offered him his own mother in marriage. And he gladly took it because he had sworn to live for the happiness of the people. And if this brings them happiness, he shall do it. And he is married to his own mother, Jocasta. Now it just happens that when he has married, a kind of plague starts spreading in his country. Time passes by, and of the matrimony with his own mother, he has 4 children. This is like no blot to his character, because he does not do it perforce. He does not do it out of his own wishes. He just took it as a command of the people who were happy with him. But now he also wanted to rid his own people from the plague that was destroying them. So he sent for the same seer who had told him something earlier. And the seer Tiresias is called for, who doesn't want to say, who doesn't want to reveal who the bad man is, what the cause of this plague is. But at the behest and continuous persuasion from Oedipus, does he reveal the fact that it is he who has observed incest. Incest is a crime of having illicit relationships within the family. And for this crime, he doesn't want to take it easy. He knows that he has not done anything of the kind. And he asks to interrogate the land which he had deserted for fear of killing his own father and marrying his mother. A messenger is sent there, but Jocasta, who had seen the wounds, the scars of the wounds in her husband's feet, she immediately commits suicide. The messenger comes back only to reveal that he was not the true son. Oedipus was not the real son of the parents where he was nurtured. Now what should Oedipus do? The original Oedipus killed himself, but Sophocles would not let this happen. He is the maker. He is the poet, He is creating a character that will teach to the succeeding ages that crime committed, whether out of own free will or whether out of pressure from the circumstances, will always have evil effects. Therefore, he blinds himself, and with the blood oozing from his eyes, he washes the whole boundary of his kingdom. This story, this play, when it was produced by Sophocles, the political guru of Greece wanted a ban be imposed upon this writing. This writing, Plato thought was having bad influence upon the readers. It was causing them to move to pity and fear. He objected against the writing, and on 3 special grounds. The first ground being aesthetic. Plato was an idealist, and he insisted that things should be served as they are. And here the story is not true. It is not a reality. In reality, Oedipus just died. So he said that it is an imitation. It is thrice removed from reality. It does not have the core of reality in it. And the poet has played upon the original scheme of things and has made it his own by making him to bleed from his eyes day by day, and which should not be done. He also proposed an imposition of ban upon such writings on moral grounds. The moral grounds being that gods have been presented in an adverse light. It were gods who had destined Oedipus to have a life of suffering. And if we look down upon gods, it does not bring a good impact upon the people. Also, he wanted a ban to be imposed, such creation to be stopped, because he thought that it was against human understanding. If a man understands that he can marry a woman elder than his age, it is going to spread a bad message to the people. On humanitarian grounds, it is not good. In the succeeding lesson, therefore, the talk that I shall have with you, I will discuss how this piece of writing was taken as a ground for more creation. This is what Plato thought about a writing of Sophocles. So we see that a document against a piece of writing came forward because Plato gave it a thought. He contemplated upon the impact of this writing upon the general masses. A writing should not evoke feelings of weakness. A writing should not mar the general tendency of visualizing the truths. So, we see that Sophocles wrote down upon the life of a real Oedipus. Plato is giving his commentary upon the writing of Sophocles and how the first work of criticism came into existence, because our understanding of English literature originates from Greece, which was the earliest center of learning. The Western studies originated from Greece, traveled on to Italy, moved into France and from France came to England. So a study of English literature would be incomplete unless we go and delve deep into the roots of the Genesis, into the genesis of this piece of literature that has come over to us and which is the grounding stone, the stepping stone for our analysis of criticism. This story must be borne in mind before we make any assessment how one writes. What drives him to write? What then this piece of writing excites into the minds of the readers? So, what should be the approach of a reader to a piece of art will be an assessment in the succeeding lecture next time. Thank you.